Hi, Preposterous. I watched your video and was really interested in the subject, so I watched it very passionately. But I kept asking myself the following question. I was wondering if what you were saying was true. So afterwards I was trying to find ways to know whether what you were claiming was true. So I came to ask myself the same question as you did, mainly what is mathematics, what is science, and what's a proof. So the first thing that I realized was that your claim of science was basically induction. The method of science was induction. You observe the world and you work backwards from your observation to laws or generalizations. And then you said that laws don't exist, but only theories exist. So you can never get a law. You only get theories, which are never true in a sense, but there are kind of degrees to which they are true. So I disagree totally with that. In that science, you always start with a question. You want to know something, basically, about the world. So you ask yourself a question and then you find ways to answer that question. You use your imagination, maybe to create situations, metaphors, whereby you might understand or take a new perspective to understand your problem and what the answer would be. So in that sense, I mean, when you ask a question, then any question could be considered science. Let's say, how tall am I? There's a question, and I'll answer 6'3", for instance, and this would be true. So I will have the answer to my question. This wouldn't be a law, of course, but it would still be an answer. It would be truth. Of course, science is more universal in that sense. That you don't want to understand specific or individual or personal things. You want to understand the universe. You want to understand heat, how heat works. You want to understand how pressure works. You want to understand how life works. These kind of questions. But it's not only a matter of gathering evidence and you gather evidence and all of a sudden, boom, you're going to get your law, your generalization, your theory. It doesn't start like that. You start with a question. You start even with a hypothesis. You imagine that universe works like that in a certain sense. You have a hypothesis about that. This is where imagination comes in, and then you try to verify if it's true, or you try to prove that it's true, that your hypothesis is true. Because you said, okay, if this and this is true, this is what I observe every day, for instance. So then the universe has to work in that specific way in order to have this harmony they have around me. And this is the hypothesis. And then from that standpoint, you try to find experiments that will validate or disprove your hypothesis. And so this is where there are no real degrees of knowledge. Is that either you know or you don't know something. you get in the process of trying to discover something, and then either you discover it, you answer your question, partially at least, or you don't. You know, it's like I'm wondering how tall am I? Okay, I have to say 6'3". Maybe it's a little bit more, a little bit less. Okay, but if I give a range, let's say between 6'2" and 6'4", I'll be right. So I will have found a certainty, a truth, and I will not be half right, half wrong. I'll be right if I give a range. So this is my point. That's how science works. Now, concerning mathematics, what is mathematics? What is geometry? Let's look at geometry. Let's look at mathematics and geometry together. What do you think? Like, is geometry part of mathematics? Is mathematics part of geometry? How does it work? What do you think? What's the first thing you ask a kid? What is mathematics? Give me something that is mathematics. Write on the board something that's mathematics. They're going to write some numbers, right? So there, if you get kind of the general idea behind numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and every number, even whatever the number, you get the idea of quantity. So you have quantity, and you have rules between quantities. You add them, multiply them, and everything. But then you get in geometry. What is geometry? You be triangle, a circle, rectangle, whatever. It's a shape, right? So you're studying shapes in geometry. So in mathematics, or maybe we should call it algebra, you're studying in a way quantities, and in geometry you're studying shapes. But what's the link between the two? I'm going to challenge you with the following question. It's like, can you imagine a shape that has no quantity? And can you imagine a quantity that has no shape? So this is the challenge, and I think I will post another video concerning mathematics, geometry, and data proof again. I'll just leave you on this question, and hope that we can have evolved with the discussion and go even further into what we're trying to understand. So I'll be looking forward to your answer and to anybody else who wants to participate in the discussion. Thank you.